Good morning and welcome to the Extra Points Show presented by Fantasy Points. Here with my buddy Major, talking about some Thrive Fantasy bets today, some Monkey Knife Fight bets today. It's crazy because I feel like I'm so excited that we're at another Sunday with another slate of games here, Major. But then after this Sunday, I think it's going to hit me that I feel like the season's kind of already flying by. What's going on, man? How are things with you? Excited for obviously week 3?
Always excited for football, man. Just some really good games going on. We got Mahomes versus Herbert. That's a big one. Football is good, man. We need this. We need this break from things. We had some bad, stuff happen this week in the fantasy community. So I think football helped us kind of, a second to relax for a second, before we get back to the real stuff.
Absolutely. And once again this week, going through some betting on some of our partner sites. So again, Monkey Knife Fight, Thrive Fantasy. Excited for my own reasons this week, and I got my Soldier Fields shirt on. The moment we've all been waiting for in Chicago is going to happen today. Going to talk about my guy Justin Fields in a little bit here, but Major, we talk different bets on a weekly basis here. Any standout from last week that you might have hit on or just stuck out in general to you?
Well, last week I went 2-0 in Thrive, and I got 2 of my 4 right on Monkey Knife Fight, but the rules, you got to get both of those players to hit their mark, and I failed to do that. So I went 0-2 in Monkey Knife Fight, man. So but with this week we're going to recoup, we're going to get back on track. How about yourself?
Absolutely. And you know what? It is tough to be 100% when any sort of bets. I think what you and I do on a weekly basis is we throw out, ones we want to put some money down on and the big whys to it. So it's educated guesses at the end of the day with some good backings. And if you are listening to this and you like, I say this every week, you like some things I say, some things Major says, and maybe, a mix of both and not so much on some other things, just take what you like. Use your own bets as well and just make a nice combination there. So last week I had a couple that stuck out to me. I had a better week in comparison to the first week. I will say that. I had Chubb over 93.5 total yards. He had 98. I had DK Metcalf under 8.5 receptions. He had 6. And then I had Kenyon Drake less than 48.5 rushing yards. He had 9. So those are 3 that I hit on. And again, I think I'm hopefully climbing up because I think I struggled a little bit the first week. So it's nice to hit 3 of those from the previous week. So we'll start things off today with Monkey Knife Fight. So Monkey Knife Fight, what is Monkey Knife Fight? If you haven't played before or haven't listened to this show before, but Monkey Knife Fight is the fastest growing daily fantasy sports site on the planet. It's a daily fantasy sports operator offering a unique style of player props. So it's very simple. Major and I talk about this every week. Super easy to use the app. So when you do use the app, you pick a sport. So obviously we're going to talk about the NFL today. You select a game matchup. You pick your fantasy contest. There's more or less. There's rapid fire. There's stat shootout. There's even a new fantasy one that I used today as well. And then you just pick your buy-in. So super easy to use. Go check that out on the Monkey Knife Fight app. New users can use the code Fantasy Points. So it's Fantasy PTS all put together to claim an instant 100% deposit matchup up to $100. So you also receive a free $5 just for signing up. So a lot of perks for signing up, a lot of perks for putting some money down. Definitely fun to play. So Major, talking Monkey Knife Fight, what is one that you are confident in playing for the games this weekend?
I'm going for probably going to be the most high scoring, most stats put up. I'm going Patrick Mahomes versus Justin Herbert. I have Patrick Mahomes going more than 315.5 yards. I have Justin Herbert going more than 305.5 yards. Basic reasons, Mahomes tends to do well after a L, and he's averaging 340 yards per game right now. But he's facing a top 5 defense in the Chargers. That's only giving up 177 yards a game. So it won't be easy, but I have a feeling that it's going to be like an air raid game. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for both of these quarterbacks to get their numbers. On Herbert's side, he should have an easier path to get his 305.5. The Chief D secondary is ranked 19th. They're giving up 267 yards a game. It's last season Herbert put up 300 plus yards both times he played them. What else I have here? Let's see. To get off to a the Chiefs is off to a great start. Uh, no, I'm sorry. He's actually Herbert's giving up, not giving up. He's averaging 377 yards a half right now. And again, both quarterbacks are going to have plenty of opportunity to put up big numbers. So I would go with Patrick Mahomes more, Justin Herbert more on both of those.
And I'll save my Mahomes opinion for a later bet that I also have regarding him. And I am in complete agreement there. And I have something very similar on the other app that we will talk about. But to talk about Justin Herbert, I'm with you. And I think he's going to have to match that offense. And when you play the Chiefs, you don't typically, most teams don't just pound the rock all the time because it's hard to do so when you have Patrick Mahomes slinging the rock. So I agree Justin Herbert's going to have a high volume passing day. I distinctly remember him last year after that mysterious injury starting week 2 against the Chiefs and having a nice game. So I agree with you on that one as well. I had to go, and again, I'm not trying to be a Bears homer, so ignore the t-shirt and the jersey behind me. But I had to go with the Browns and the Bears on one of my picks for today, and it involves the 2 quarterbacks. And both of my monkey knife fight bets today actually involve fantasy. So I actually liked, I'm a big fantasy guy. Most of my content is fantasy. So I wanted to go pick some fantasy options here. And this was more or less, but it was more or less for fantasy points. So I have Baker Mayfield. Talking about Baker Mayfield, the mark was 18.5 fantasy points. I'm going to say that Baker Mayfield is going to have less than 18.5 fantasy points. Week 1, he had 13.64. Week 2, he just beat 18.5. He had 18.52. He's had this weird left shoulder issue from the last game. He started practicing again on Wednesday, but I'm not entirely sure that that's 100%. Sam Darnold is factored in the other into this mark, but he's actually tied for 28th in passing attempts, Baker Mayfield. So he's a bottom passing volume quarterback because they depend so much on the run, obviously with Nick Chubb, and then they get Kareem Hunt going as well. And the Bears defense looked good last week. I know it's the Bengals offensive line, which is not too good, but they had 3 interceptions. They had a fumble recovery. They had 5 sacks. ESPN projects Baker Mayfield to have 15.7 fantasy points. And usually it's Mike Clay and some of the guys on that team over there projecting that. So I'm comfortable saying Baker under 18.5 fantasy points. But on the flip side, and I know it's his first start, and a lot of people will say, well, the Browns defense is pretty good. I'm going to say Justin Fields is going to have more than 18.5 fantasy points. And here's the reason why. Tyrod Taylor against the Browns, he was picking the Browns apart before he got hurt. Tyrod Taylor threw for 90.9% completion rate and a touchdown. And then he also rushed for a touchdown. So he's a guy that was using his legs also against the Browns defense. Fields rushed 10 times last game. Didn't really amount to much. But I think if he does have that sort of rushing volume, his fantasy points are just going to keep increasing, especially since the fantasy points are worth 0.1 per rushing yard. Allen Robinson dropped that touchdown as well. That would have been nice. But Justin Fields, I think, is going to go for over 18.5. Give me Justin Fields 18.6. I'm with it. I'm with it. And any quick thoughts before you go into your second pick here for monkey knife fight?
Yeah, I'm with you on Baker. I think he's missing some receivers out there. He's playing some young guys again, getting the call. I think that OBJ is a game time decision. So maybe he's running with the young guys. Maybe he's not going to have those weapons. And then on the other one, I'm going to go under on that one just because all the rookie quarterbacks this year seems to be struggling just a little bit. So I think that he might have that first game blues, and don't sleep on that defense. So I'm with you on the first one. Second one, I have to go under.
All right. So again, got to think about some reasonings. We got some good ones for the over and the under there. But Major, give me your second pick for monkey knife fight that you are confident in playing today.
Yeah, I'm really big on the monkey knife. I'm big on the more or less. I kind of like that game a little bit more than the others. So again, I went more or less. Cooper Kupp more than 85.5 yards receiving, and Justin Jefferson more than 83.5 receiving yards. Cooper Kupp is on fire, man. And dude's a third receiver in the league with 135.5 yards per game. Tampa Bay defense is ranked down towards the bottom, allowing 342 yards a game. So look for him to continue his great season. Jefferson is averaging 68 yards a game, which it's kind of strange because Kirk Cousins is actually having a pretty good season, averaging 297 yards a game. Jefferson is taking a bit of a back seat in the red zone to Adam Thielen, and then you have this breakout guy KJ Osborne taking most of the yards in between. So Jefferson is kind of due for a breakout game, and uh, and what's better team to do it against like the weak secondary of the Seahawks, that's ranked towards the bottom of the league as well. So both of these receivers have pretty good matchups. Let's see if they can take advantage of them. What do you think?
I'm with you on both. I agree. I think Justin Jefferson is due for a bigger game. We saw so many games last year where with him eclipsing 100 yards receiving. I think this is a definite opportunity to hit that mark because we've seen it so many times in his rookie season. Cooper Kupp, I think you said 85.5. Is that right? The mark that you were saying he's going to be over?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Which almost seems disrespectful seeing what he did the first 2 weeks. I mean,
Exactly.
week 1, 108 yards, week 1, week 2, 163 yards. He's got 21 targets in 2 games. So this guy has been going off. So I think that's an easy mark to hit. So I'm with you on both of those. Justin Jefferson, just like you said, due for a big day. The second one I picked, and I feel like this is new or else I just haven't seen it before, but it's called the Fantasy Challenge. And what you do is you select 3 players. You have to have one from each team. So you pick one matchup and then you select your point goal and then you put a deposit down. So however confident you are, you pick that point goal and again, fantasy points. So you made some good points about Cooper Kupp. I picked though in this Robert Woods. And here's part of the reason why I think that Cooper Kupp's going to be a big part of the Tampa Bay game plan to slowing down the Rams, just seeing how crazy he's been as far as his production the first 2 weeks. We saw Mike Evans, Julio Jones, 2 guys that struggled early on, get going. Their quarterback got them going. Robert Woods really hasn't had a massive game, so it might be his turn to get going. Not to say that your guy that you just talked about, Cooper Kupp, won't also have a good game, but I think that quarterbacks kind of recognize like, hey, this is an important guy to our team. Let's get him going. 9 targets last game. So has the potential to be a big shootout game between the Bucks and the Rams. Both quarterbacks are going to pass the ball a lot. I'm going to pick Robert Woods, and then I'm also going to pick Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They don't have Antonio Brown in this one. Mike Evans just coming off of a game where he scored 2 touchdowns. He's got 15 targets on the year. Chris Godwin, 19 targets on the year. So these guys are both getting fed. I mean, Mike Evans, it took him a little bit to get going, but with no Antonio Brown, I think that gives you some more confidence in, Evans and Godwin to get that volume because, we've seen at times where AB was getting a lot of looks and then Evans wasn't. Now you take one guy completely out of the picture. I'm not going to say that, Scotty Miller is going to take away a ton from Evans and Chris Godwin or whoever else is going to be Tyler Johnson, Darden, one of those guys. So I'm going to pick Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Robert Woods in that fantasy challenge. Again, you pick 3 players, one from each team, and you just put down that buy-in. So I'm going to say all 3 of those guys will have a good fantasy day. Any quick thoughts on that before we start shifting gears to our other partner?
Yeah, man, I think you hit it right on the head. It gave some like inside information on like the quarterbacks kind of know like I need to get this guy going a little bit. I don't want to get this guy too mad or make him feel like he's left out. So yeah, I'm absolutely. And Robert Woods is like one of my favorite receivers like of all time. The dude is just like the nastiest route runner.
Same.
And the other 2, yeah, I mean, you're right on, man. You got it. And I was going to play that one, but I was like, we only get 2 picks and you kind of cheated and got 3, but I'm gonna let it slide this week, Nick.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Thrive Fantasy. So let's shift gears over there. So again, Monkey Knife Fight, Thrive Fantasy, 2 of our partners here. There's nice promo codes that you can use on both sites to get an instant deposit matchup. So what is Thrive Fantasy? A little bit similar, but actually a lot different in its own way than what we just talked about. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. So basically what you do is you have a list of players. There's 20 available player props. You pick over and unders, and you choose 10 out of those 20 players. So it's a lot of fun because you just kind of click through, and whichever 10 out of those 20 you have some confidence in, you select those. And again, you pick the over and unders of them to have certain receiving yards, touchdowns, rushing yards, whatever the actual player prop is. So new users can use promo code Fantasy Points So this is fantasy with points spelled out, all put together. When you sign up, and you'll receive a 100% instant first deposit matchup up to $100. So again, that instant first deposit matchup. Download the Thrive Fantasy app on the App Store. www.thrivefantasy.com is a site that you can actually check it out at as well. So sign up and prop up today. Thrive Fantasy. So Major, again, we can pick 10 guys. Let's just go through two of your picks here. We'll start. You'll go, and then I'll go, and then we'll go back to you again. So what's one of the picks that you have for an over under on the Thrive Fantasy app?
I'm going with my guy, Antonio Gibson, over 82.5 rushing and receiving yards. If you remember last week, I said, look for the ones that you kind of get both. You get some rushing opportunities, you get some passing opportunities to hit that 82.5. Gibson has a tough matchup in the Bills D that's ranked top 10 against the run. Although he's rushing and receiving prop, but Gibson most likely going to get most of his totals on the ground, mostly because JD McKesson is like a true third down passing back in Washington, and he's taking up all the receptions. But then can I get a minute just to vent just a little bit about Washington? What
Go
I don't
right ahead, sir.
About this whole Gibson situation. Like, I don't understand like how you draft a player who was a wide receiver that converted to running back. So you can catch the ball, right? But you don't throw the ball to him. It drives me nuts. I don't get NFL coaches at all. It drives me crazy. I think Gibson should be like CMC 2.0. You get what I'm saying? So I just don't get it, man. But what do you think about that one?
You know what? I'm with you, because it does seem frustrating. You would think 2 and 2 equals 4.
Right.
Receiver in college equals receiver in the NFL. They just must really still like McKissick's involvement on this team. And Rivera, like you just mentioned, CMC, he coached CMC. So, he's used his name before talking about Antonio Gibson, but
absolutely,
we're waiting for him to get that full workload. But we saw week 1. Last week he had 74 all-purpose yards, but that game was really scripted versus the Giants. It was tight for a while. But week 1, he had 90 yards rushing, and then he had 18 yards receiving. So if he plays like he did week 1, he's going to hit that bet that you just said he'd hit the over on. So look for Antonio Gibson, hopefully to be utilized in the correct way, like Major has said, so that Major doesn't have to vent anymore about it, because I get it, man. I get it. I do. One of mine I picked, and you mentioned it earlier, and I didn't steal it. I promise. Didn't steal it. But different app. But Patrick Mahomes over 310.5 passing yards. So this is worth 95 points on the Thrive Fantasy app. Week 1, he had 337 passing yards. That's more than this mark. Week 2, he had 343 passing yards. That's more than this mark. 8 out of 15 games last year, he had over 310 passing yards. So that's over 50% of the season. Again, Major talked about Patrick Mahomes a bit and what kind of game this might be today. This is a guy that frequently hits over 310 passing yards. So for me, this was an easy one. I didn't think twice. I think it's the first one I saw on the Thrive app, and I just smashed that over. So we talked a lot about Mahomes. I think that's an easy one. I think we're on the same page with that, because you mentioned
absolutely.
it before.
Yeah. That's, especially after a loss, he's going to get back on track. He's going to be throwing that ball down the field. That to me is an easy one. Smash that button every single time.
What's another one? So again, we have to pick 10. Major and I will give you 4. Maybe you take all 4 of ours. Maybe you take 2 or 3 of ours, and then you pick the rest on your own. But what's another one you have some confidence in here for the Thrive Fantasy app?
Absolutely, man. If you want to make money, make sure you take our no, I'm just playing. But I'm gonna go with Austin Eckler over 54.5 rushing yards. Going with that same game. Maybe I'm being a bit of a homer, being that I'm in LA. But Eckler's averaging 55 yards rushing per game, so he's hitting that on per game. And the Kansas City D is ranked last in the league. So I feel Eck is gonna reach that average easily. The Chargers take the lead. If the Chargers take the lead early, look to them to focus on winning the game on the possession, running the ball, keeping Mahomes off the field. But like you said earlier, it's going to be kind of hard to keep Mahomes off the field. Most teams they don't run the ball because you're down 14 like so fast. So but I think he'll hit that 55. So it'll be easy for him. So I'm giving it to Eck this week.
So 57 the first week, and then he had 54 last week, but he only rushed the ball 9 times. So that was a 6.0 average yards per rush there. What people don't talk about enough, and I don't have the list of the transactions, but the Chargers offensive line is one of the most improved in this offseason. They drafted Slater out of Northwestern. I know that because I'm an Illinois guy, but they really improved this offensive line. So Eckler is a guy who keeps getting disrespected all the time for his ability rushing. If you look at his average yards per rush across his career, it's actually not too bad. It would surprise you. I'm with you. I'm with you. And he had 9 rushes total last week against Dallas. Again, pretty scripted there. But I think that, like Major said, it depends on this game. If the Chargers are pretty tight in this one, or they get a lead, look for them to give the ball to Austin Eckler. I'm with you there. He's going to get a lot of touches today. I think both rushing and receiving against the Chiefs. He's going to be a big part of this game plan. My other one that I picked, and this is more of a dart throw. So some of these other, picks have some good backings. They're usually yards or passing yards or rushing yards.
Are we getting bold over here, man?
I mean, not crazy bold, but I'm just Calvin Ridley over 0.5 receiving touchdowns. So what I'm saying today is I think Calvin Ridley is going to score a touchdown. A little bit harder to hit that, just because guys don't score every game. But this is worth 115 points on the ThriveFantasy app. This guy's got 18 targets in the last 2 games, and he just scored a touchdown last game. In those 2 games, he's had 3 red zone targets. So he's getting some looks. And if you look at the list of red zone targets, it's not like somebody's got like 8 at this point. It's pretty close. I mean, the most is probably like 4 or 5, I think, something along those lines. But he's a guy that consistently does get those looks in the red zone for Matt Ryan. The offense has been a little shaky, to be honest, to start the year. But, if you look at what Terry McLaurin did against the Giants last week, he went crazy with his backup quarterback. He went 11 catches out of 14 targets, 107 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So I'm banking on Calvin Ridley, who I regard just as high, if not higher than Terry McLaurin, to have the same sort of day against the Giants. I think he's going to get like somewhere between, 9 to 12 targets. And I think some of those targets are going to be in the red zone. So give me Calvin Ridley to score a touchdown. Again, players don't score every game, but I think this is going to be a nice opportunity for him to score a touchdown. Am I too bold here? Is this something that might happen? It's a coin flip.
I think you're right on, man. Like, to me, with week 3, you have to that's when the trend starts to go the opposite way. So if Ridley's having a rough time, that whole Atlanta offense is having a hard time. So I think it's about time for them to get back on track and put up some numbers. So you're absolutely right about that.
And before we transition here, we have a giveaway to talk about. Major, one game. What's the one game you're looking forward to the most today? I think you've mentioned already a handful, but what's the one, like, I'm zoned into this one?
I'm going Chiefs versus Chargers. I know you. What about you? I mean, I don't have to ask. You got the shirt on. You got the jerseys going on. But go ahead and give it.
I vented too many times about this, so I'll keep it short. But again, 29 years old. This is the first Sunday, man, that I woke up and I'm like, I'm excited about my quarterback today. For real. I hope him the best. I hope he does well, but it's literally an unreal feeling. So that's what I'm looking forward to here right now. So what we have to close things out here, we have a giveaway from the Owners Club. So let's talk about that. So we were giving away 3 cards, 3 NFTs from the Owners Club, a new NFT game that combines fantasy football and NFTs. So as far as the Owners Club goes, their users will have chances to win tickets to games, attend TOC watch parties, receive signed sports memorabilia from professional athletes, and receive airdrops of valuable NFTs simply by owning NFTs and competing in our free contests, just like this one. So that's right. Their members will have a weekly opportunity to compete for their share in over $1 million in cash prizes. This is the next generation of fantasy sports. So you can sign up. So that sounds pretty intriguing to me. You can sign up at toc.otmnft.com and browse the marketplace to get started while you wait for the next drop. So this site is just giving away stuff nonstop. So what they were giving away, what we're giving away: Los Angeles QB, Cincinnati wide receivers, Philadelphia running backs. So that's what was being given away. And we have the winners here. I have the winners listed here. I have their Twitter handles that I'm going to read off. And again, definitely check this out, man. I mean, Major, I don't know about you, but I like free stuff.
I love free stuff and NFT game. I'm been studying up on it. Like that's the new wave, man. So this is a great opportunity to get some early. And I think I might have some sound effects for the winner. So go ahead, man.
All right, so I'll do it one at a time here. So the Cincinnati wide receiver NFT was won by at Strictly 3 Sports. So that's at Strictly 3 Sports. That's our winner for the Cincinnati wide receiver NFT. Yeah, I like that, man. Hey,
little soundboard action for you, man.
I was reading it too, and to be honest, I didn't expect this, so I jumped a little bit on the inside. But yeah, congratulations on that. Our next winner here, the Los Angeles QB NFT, was won by at D Ben J 01. Yeah, there we go. So again, Los Angeles QB NFT won by at D Ben J 01. And then we have our last prize winner right here. We have the Philadelphia running back NFT, and that is won by at Bet the House. So it's at Bet the HAUS.
Nice.
Hey, you got a special one there. Oh, all right. You got a mix of the.
I like
you got a
the
mix
name,
of both
man.
there.
I like the handle.
Absolutely. All right, so that's our 3 winners today. Again, from the Owners Club. Definitely check that out. They're giving out free stuff all the time. And again, just like I hope you are like Major and I and enjoy some free things just for signing up and participating. So thank you guys for checking out our show today, Extra Points, talking about Monkey Knife Fight, talking about Thrive Fantasy and the bets that Major and I have. Hopefully you guys enjoy this week 3 Sunday and your fantasy football lineups, your sports betting here as well. Major, anything to close things out here?
That's it, man. Just yeah, I'm not gonna bring it. I'm not gonna bring it down, but yeah, good show, Nick, as always, man. Let's see how we do this week, man.
All right. Happy Sunday. Catch you guys later.